Hello and welcome to DIY Collective. Today I am hanging a lamp to the ceiling of my sitting room, and as you can see the cable is extremely long. And to get the cable to the right length I have some side cutters, wire strippers, Phillips head screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver and needle nose plier. And taking a look inside, at first glance it looks rather complicated, but as I go to undo these screws I realise that my screwdriver has become highly attracted to the metal, and it turns out, to my relief, that there are two strong magnets that hold the components to the cap of the lamp, which is a big relief. And that hole you see on the side is if I wanted to run the cable through it along my ceiling, which I don't need to do. I just need to shorten the cable because it's going to hang directly underneath the junction box in the ceiling. I start by pulling the cable through the hole in the cap. Ceiling lamps you can hang anywhere in your house, but this lamp was specifically designed to hang above a dining room table, which is why it has such a long cable. I've never done anything like this before, so I'm taking my time, and I discover here that there's a screw that is specifically made to keep the cable in place when it's hanging from the ceiling. So I'm removing this screw, and I didn't want to completely remove it. I wanted it to stay in its place, but as I was pulling it through it sprung out, and later on I realised that the piece had gone missing, which is why I wanted it to stay where it was. But hey ho, that's how it goes in the world of DIY. Using the side cutters, because they were the closest to hand, I could have done this with some normal scissors. I am going to carefully unwrap the cable. Just want to make sure I don't accidentally cut through something that I will come later to regret. And here you see underneath more beautifully wrapped up cable. And so here we go again. Look at how gorgeously that's all been packed in. I have to be honest with you, it feels almost barbaric to be doing this, but needs must. And you can already start to see that there's two colours, or three colours, black and a brown wire, and then on the other side you have a blue and a black wire. Now, I am by no means an electrician, but just for a little bit of context, the brown wire, the live wire, that's the wire that carries the electricity from the source to the switch or to the appliance, and the blue wire is the neutral wire, and that's the wire that carries the electricity back to the power source. And I am putting labels on the wires so that later I know which wire to attach the brown one to and which wire to attach the black one to. And this is something I really recommend everyone does. Together with my husband, we're just going to both have a look at how high we want the lamp to be, and just putting a bit of tape on to mark that. I'm just nipping to the DIY shop to pick up some electrical tape and tiny tie clips, just in case I need them when it comes to reattaching the wires. And now it's time to get started. So this is the moment when I'm cutting through the cable and there is no going back. I need to get to the plastic coating underneath the cable, dare I say it, sheath. Just checking the length of the cable against the length that the makers of this lamp had allowed for. Just going to attach some electrical tape on the sheath to stop it from coming away any further. And these are the wire strippers. Turning the screw clockwise or anti-clockwise adjusts the space between the teeth, and this I match to the thickness of the cable that I want to strip. First I'm going to test the wire strippers on a part of the cable that is going to be cut away, just to make sure that when I strip the wire that the blue and brown wire underneath won't be damaged. The practice was successful, so now I know that I can get started on the actual cable. I have left enough of the cable should anything go wrong. I can cut away the mistake and start again. Here I am struggling to cut through the actual cable, and sadly I do go too far and I have exposed the copper wiring of the blue wire, which means I cut it away and start again. Now I don't have much patience, so I daren't just go in one fellow swoop with the wire stripper, and instead I peel away the black covering by hand. And there we have it, a brown and blue wire intact. Adjusting the wire stripper to make the gap between the teeth smaller, because I'm now going to strip away the blue and the brown wire, revealing about 1 centimetre of the copper wires inside. Before I do this, I need to remove the caps, untwist and separate the wires. The stripping of the blue and brown wire goes perfectly. I am unable to reuse the caps, so I am going to replace that with these terminal blocks. And the terminal blocks will do exactly the same job, connecting the blue and brown wire to the wires of the lamp, allowing the electricity to flow to and from. I simply cut through the strip of terminal blocks so that I have a side for the blue and a side for the brown, and the wires are clamped into the terminal block by tiny screws. Once I have the wire in, all I have to do is tighten the screw back up. I've started with the brown wire, and so on the other side I then into the terminal block the lamp wire that has the label brown written on it, and then I do the same for the blue wire on the other side of the terminal block. I'm now wrapping up the wires in the electrical insulation tape that I went to get from the DIY shop. This tape will cover up any of the copper wire that's exposed, and it's just, although I know the wires are secure in place, it just adds a bit of extra support. And now that the wires are nicely packed in, I can go ahead with removing any of the markers that I had attached to the cable, because now it's time to go and hang the lamp up. First things first, need to make sure that that electricity is turned off. When I flip the switch, the light doesn't go on anymore. Before removing the current light, in the holes of the frame of the new lamp, I'm going to mark on the ceiling where I will later drill 2 holes, where the screws will go through and attach the lamp to the ceiling. I am also using a screwdriver that when it touches the wires, a light will burn, which will tell me that there is still electricity flowing through the wires. To make it easier to attach the new lamp, I'm just pulling the wires in the junction box just to make them hang a bit lower. I am using the plugs that came with the lamp, which will go into the holes in the ceiling, and to make sure I've got the right drill bit, I just put them against each other and just make sure that they're of a similar size. It's good to know that when you go to get plugs that are going to go into the wall or into the ceiling, you just have to make sure you've got the right type of plug. And most plugs have a number on the side, and that number should match with the drill bit that you're going to use. So you can either measure it with the eye or check the numbers. So now I've got 2 holes in the ceiling and the plug fits snugly in. I don't have to worry about it too much because the lamp is very lightweight. I can now go ahead with attaching the wires that are coming out of the junction box to the wires in the lamp. Now, the makers of this lamp have made our jobs much easier. It's clearly labelled where the live wire goes and neutral wire goes. just by pushing down on the lever, it opens the socket up, allowing me to just push the wire in, release the lever, and there it is, clamped into place. And now I can go ahead with screwing the frame of the lamp to the ceiling, so the screws are going into the two plugs, wires are connected, and the frame is now connected to the ceiling. Do you remember that tiny black screw that went missing? So I found something that will do exactly the same job, and I'm now screwing that into place so that the cable doesn't slip through and it will just stay at the height I want it to be at. All I have to do is push the cap of the lamp up and it will attach to the magnets of the frame. It's time that my husband and I let go of the lamp and cross our fingers that it's going to stay hanging, and by jolly, it's good. I can now turn the electricity back on, flip the switch, and there we have it. We have light. Now, thank you for watching this video. As you can see, it's all quite logical, but should you be nervous about doing your own DIY, especially with the electrics, it's always good to ask an electrician or somebody who knows what they're doing to do it for you. But if you have the courage, I truly recommend give it a go, because there's no greater feeling than being able to do DIY jobs like this in your own home. I truly recommend it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much, and good luck with your projects.